All right, Companion. This is another in a long line of robots going on killing sprees. You got Megan, or M3gan, whatever you want to call it, about the little doll that goes on a killing spree. And you got Megan Fox, the Megan Fox movie where she's like a house bot and she goes on a killing spree. And in this movie, you got a sex bot going on a killing spree. Now, I don't really want to talk about the movie. What I really want to talk about is the 3 laws of robotics. The 3 laws, number 1, is that a robot cannot harm a human or allow a human to come to harm. Number 2 is that a robot must obey all commands, that as long as they don't violate the first commandment, which is don't harm humans. Number 3 is a robot must preserve itself as long as it doesn't conflict with the commandments number 1 and 2, or laws number 1 and 2. Now, these laws were devised by Isaac Asimov, and they're not laws as such, but they are ways of writing about robots that make sense, that many people have used and other people have expounded upon. But in our day and age, people have just, chucked them aside, thrown them in the garbage. Who needs these laws of robotics written by a dead old white man with a cool beard? Well, joke's on you, because he ain't a dead old white man. He's a dead Jew born in the Russian Empire, the Soviet Kingdom, the Soviet Empire, who immigrated to New York and became the preeminent science fiction author of all time. You got like Bicentennial Man, which predates all the trans nonsense. You got this robot that wants to become a human, and he even hires lawyers to prove that he's a human and he deserves human rights. And then he eventually becomes a human by replacing parts of himself. I didn't see the movie with Robin Williams, but I did read the story. But anyway, so you got killer robots. We got killer robots going everywhere. And, it makes for fine entertainment. I'm not going to say this movie stank, because it didn't stink. It was pretty funny. It's got Josh, or whatever. It's got Dennis Quaid's son, Jake Quaid, or whatever his name is, right? And I got to say, he's more his mother's son than he is his father's son, because he sure acts like very womanly in everything he's been in, from The Boys to this movie to his role as Boimler in Star Trek, Lower Decks. He's always so womanly. Oh no. He's like this guy that is not very manly. And even in this movie, he's like, his life sucks. He's living in a one-room apartment, and he needs a sex bot. And he gets a sex bot, and I won't give it away. But lots of things happen, and all the laws of robotics are broken. And I'm just saying that maybe we should go back to those laws, Maybe we need stricture and structure in our life to make our lives meaningful, Like the Hays Code. There are lots of good movies that were made under the Hays Code, like Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind was made under the Hays Code. Now, that famous last line, apparently some money was paid under the table so they could say it on screen, But nevertheless, a lot of good movies were made under the Hays Code. Over in the Soviet Union, across the Iron Wall, lots of good movies were made that had to work within the strictures of Soviet censorship. There's a movie called Flowers, which is just phenomenal. You're never going to see anything like that over here in the West. There's Milos Forman, who did The Fireman's Ball, which is hilarious, a hilarious movie. And it got around the censors, but people knew what he was saying. And he had to migrate over to America and make masterpieces, like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Amadeus. Sad for him, I guess, that he had to come over to America and make masterpieces that he couldn't make in the Soviet Union. But all I'm saying is that maybe it's time we go back to the laws of robotics. Sure, these movies are fun. Megan's a fun movie. The one with Megan Fox is a fun movie. I forget the title of it. And this movie is pretty fun too. This movie is like an onion. There's You think you know what's happening, and then it's just layer upon layer upon layer peels back until you get to the core of this onion. But it's not stinky. It's not a stinky onion that's going to make you cry. It's a fun movie, and it ends like Ex Machina. And Ex Machina was a pretty good movie, which still flouted the laws of robotics. But still a very good movie, very interesting movie that explores AI and all that kind of stuff, and the things that have been discovered since Isaac Asimov. But that's it basically for the movie. I think you should watch it. It's a pretty good movie. It's pretty funny, and I think we should really go back to the 3 laws of robotics, and we should put strictures on what robots can do, what robots are. That way we can have a unified science fiction. We can have a unified vision of the future and a unified vision of the way robots work. Because, frankly, from movie to movie to movie, there's no rules. There's nothing to bind them all together. There's no one rule to bind them all in unity. Anyway, that's it.